on our behalf. They are buying private jets and people are staying under the bridge. If the vice president says that those protesting for their rights, for their life, for their survival are idiots, then the vice president is an idiot.
Hello everyone, so it's day 2 of the protest in Nigeria. And I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. If you are from Africa or you grew up in Africa, you will understand the tradition of Africa, where we have a way of disciplining our children. And one of those ways are when you have to either flog them or spank them or beat them, as we all understand. And it gets to a point when that beating reaches a level, that child will have no alternative but to start screaming and shouting, because at that time, that child believes he needs a help. He needs the help of a voice from outside that would say, Efikale, kukyale shimana, kukyale temana. Or you say, just leave him alone now. Don't beat the child anymore. That is why the child is crying. Now today, we are having a protest in Nigeria. And if you go by all what the government of Nigeria have been doing, is to try to restrict Nigerians, to corner Nigerians into a stadium or into a place that not even one person will have a clue that there's a protest going on in Nigeria. So it's like beating a child heavily and expect that child not to cry. The beating that you beat a child represents the hunger that the Nigerian government have put on the Nigerian people. And they constantly come out and tell you that they have policies going on. And they expect you to be patient until that policy ripens up. How many people will stand to watch a mango tree grows, have seed, and wait for that mango tree to ripe before they can actually eat that mango without having another alternative? This is what the Nigerian government is telling Nigerians to do. There are so many other avenues that the government of Ahmed Bola Tinubu should have taken. And like I said, one of the biggest things, if you know that you have all these policies that that Nigerians have to be patient for a long time before they can start, having the proceed of these policies, then maybe you should have thought twice before you say subsidy is gone. Because there's no amount of policy that you will have that can affect over 200 million people in a very short time and that will go around. So maybe when you know that you have that policy, you should have stuck, whether you have the capability or not, to that policy carrying on and leave our petrol at exactly the price that you made it. If that price is still on today, nearly 1 year, you will have enough time for your policies to come through. But you don't expect from day one to put Nigeria in the trouble that you put them through. Coming back to the protest, you are now expecting to shut Nigeria in a room, or Nigerians in a room, and ask them to protest in that one room. It is not possible.
Persons talking about their right to protest, but the court order have said that they should protest inside the stadium.
Hey, where are we? Are we not at the National Stadium? We are at the National Stadium. We are in the National Stadium.
Okay, but now, talking about...
And do you know that I've actually not seen the order?
Empire government!
What are you saying?
Empire government!
What are you saying?
The protests continue to gather momentum. The The protesters then left the stadium, marching through the National Hospital and Diplomatic Zone before heading towards Abuja Central Business District.
Fortunately or unfortunately, just as this government had the time to think through removal of subsidy, they also had time, with the time given by the protesters or by Nigerians that they are going to protest on the 1st. So Tinubu had the time to come out and address Nigerians to stop this protest. While the protest kicked off, Tinubu still had the opportunity to have come out and address the protesters and tell them, even if there are things that is going to be sweet to their ears, this is what this government is doing currently. And all it's telling us, we Nigerian, is do whatever you want to do for 10 days, get out of the road and let us move on where we stop. And that is why Nigerians, going forward from this moment, must never, ever step down from this continuous protest that must in the future lead to a revolution where we can all sit down and discuss way forward for Nigeria. Nigerians have the right to protest. Nigerians have a right to assemble. This is in our constitution. The constitution did not say that Nigerians can protest, but will have to do it in a room. And for those that were sent to the National Stadium in Abuja, it is very, very clear. It says the National Stadium. It didn't say whether inside or outside. And there's no way Nigerians can understand that a protest is going on when you cage people into a small confinement and tell them to protest there. The responsibility of our securities, who are also involved in this situation that we are in, wherever the protesters go, it is your responsibilities to follow them. If the protesters have the energy to go from one end of the state to another, to the following end, you are getting paid to make sure that you protect and you don't allow any hoodlums to come in and distract or disrupt that protest. That is your responsibility. You have no responsibility to confine protesters.
We are not going to stop until we in Nigeria, we Nigerians living in Nigeria, enjoy similar life or a better life than even countries across the world who don't have half of the resources that we have.
You have the right to protest. It is enshrined in the Nigerian constitution. And I am hoping and I am praying that before we get to the end day of this protest, Nigerians don't become tired. We have to get to a level where our numbers outnumbers the numbers of the security men and the security people. We are still going to remain peaceful. But what that just mean is that they have no right to cage us to a particular place to do our protest. Nigerians have their right to protest in every part of Nigeria. And the more they protest and the more they come out, the better it is. You see all those anti-government protesters that are being paid to come out and say no to protest. It is just hunger. It is hunger that it is their problem. 5,000, 2,000, 10,000 is good enough to put at least something or bottle of water or food on their table when they get home. You see, the truth is that you are protesting for bad governance, and those people that are being paid by the government to be anti-protester against you, the protesters, you are all in the same shoes. The only difference is that they are out just to get whatever they can get, and that is why they can be bribed with 5,000 and push the future of their children and unborn children in disarray. But I don't want you to feel bad about them. You just have a little bit more courage, and you are ready to put your life on the line for the future of your children.
Yes, if he has the powers to call us citizens, not refugees, he looked at us and tell us that we are idiots, then the vice president is an idiot. Because they are building presidential villa for you, we don't have places to stay. Have you seen the amount for house rents? You cannot pay house rents in Lagos. 10 people inside one room. People are suffering. People are hungry. And Ababio, the Senate president, the unfortunate Senate president, is telling us that he will be in the house eating while we are protesting. If we don't ask him, we will ask his children. Our children will ask his children what he has done to us. You are approving budgets of billions upon billions. You are buying jets for the president, and people cannot afford transport fare. That is wickedness. And you still say they should not protest. Wow! Who protests?
Day one of the proposed 10 days.
There will be day 2. There will be day 3. There will be day 4. And if care is not taken, it will be there forever till we get our results.
So all of us, we are in the same shoes. Even the police and the soldiers that are out there shooting tear gas and all what you have. And for some people that have lost their lives, you see, even these police and soldiers, they are also part of us, the protesters. But the protest need to get to a certain level before you know who is who. With the person that collect 5,000 and the police that is working for the government, eventually we will all become one. But that takes me back to what I've always said on this channel. We have not gotten to where our revolution needs to be. You see all this protest of announcing protest, and these people are already prepared for us. That is not going to work. And we know the kind of Nigeria that we have. When Buhari was there, we thought we can never have a worst, terrible leadership like the one we had with Buhari. But unfortunately, policy or no policy, this one is going ahead of that one. And that takes me back to where I am and where I used to be. That the only thing that can take us out of this trouble is this same protest that we are doing now and the revolution that it will lead us to in future. Because Nigeria and the Nigerian leaders have vowed to make sure that the only thing that is in front of them is how they are going to enrich themselves and their families. And this is not going to stop if we, the Nigerian people, did not stand up, put our lives on the line, and make these changes to happen. I keep saying it, we missed 2023. That election of 2023, that is when Nigeria should have changed. That is when our revolution should have bring everybody onto the table. Today, we wouldn't have had the current government that we have if we had done what we were supposed to do in that election, charade election of 2023. But I'm telling you, it's not going to stop. There's another one coming in 2027. If you think anything is going to change, nothing is going to change. But I want you to gear up. That is the kind of revolution that we need. Not a protest for hunger. We need it to change the government. But we need revolution to change the entire system. And that is where we need to go. So our target now, this one, I hope it catapulted and becomes something else and lead us to having a sit down on a round table and discuss Nigeria. But if this didn't happen, we target 2027. INEC will come out and they will promise you heaven and earth again. But they will still put whoever they want there. And that is when we need to come out and take that country back. We have lands. We have oil. We just need to know what to do with them. So there's hope. Don't give up on Nigeria. All these people, they want you to japa. They want you to run away from Nigeria so that they can continue milking Nigeria the way they are doing now. And that is where you need to say no. Because all of us, Nigeria is growing and growing. We are over 200 million now. In another 10 years, we'll be running over 350 million, if the statistic is right. So all these millions, we cannot run out of Nigeria, all of us. So we have to fight for the future of our children. And Nigeria can be a place that can be turned around in a very short period of time. But that changes begins with you.